I'm Ashley.
I'm Lauren, and this is
Whispers in the Basement. It's still really quiet.
It is very quiet. Ashley had the space heater going, the big one.
Is it quieter than normal, though? It is.
I feel like it is.
But why?
I don't know.
What's missing?
Maybe the ghost that usually hangs out in here is gone.
The house is haunted.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear what happened the other day? I didn't tell you this story. Mm-hmm. So, I think, let's see, today's Friday. It was Wednesday night. I was sitting on the bathroom floor giving myself a pedicure, and Gage was in his room playing games, and his door was open, and I had my earbuds in, and I was listening to some music, and I heard him say something really loud, but I was like, maybe he's just mad at whoever he's playing the game with. And then but he kept getting loud, and I was like, what the hell? So I stood up, I go to walk in his room, and he's standing up, and he looks at me, and he's like, did you just come in here? And I said, no. Why? And he's like, I swear to God, I was sitting here at my desk and I was playing my game, and I saw somebody walk past, like you could see a shadow like through the corner of his eye, and somebody tapped him on his shoulder, and so he thought it was me. And when he turned around, nobody was there.
No way.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. This is like what, the second or third thing in like a week?
Yeah, they kind of come in spurts from time to time. Nothing bad has really happened since, well, nothing bad has ever happened, actually. But we hadn't seen anything since, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, things got really weird 2 years ago.
One of your kids played with like a Ouija board or something?
No. Actually, something got brought up about a Ouija board the other night, and Gage was like, yeah, we should buy one. And Aaron and I were both like, absolutely not entering this house. No way.
I remember as a kid, I thought that they were cool, and I got one. Like, I think it was like one from just Spencer's or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it glowed in the dark.
Oh, yeah.
And I was too scared.
I had one when I was in middle school, and it also glowed in the dark. And we used it. I don't know. I don't want to say as I don't believe in it, because I don't know. But I just I think the whole build up around it now, I'm like, nope.
It's kind of like if you were to go into the bathroom in the dark and say Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to find out.
No, I'm good. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
You know, as a kid, you're at a sleepover and you're like, if you say that, she'll get you.
I know.
And you're like, oh, no, that's so scary. And then you dare each other, and then you're like, no, I'm good.
I don't know why, but I was just sitting here picturing, I think I was thinking about the Beetlejuice musical, because you have to say Beetlejuice 3 times, and she's like saying Beetle, but she never says Beetlejuice. Mm-hmm. So I was sitting here thinking like how funny it would have been as a kid if you were the asshole friend that was like on the third Bloody Mary, you were like, Bloody Muffin, and everybody
just scare everybody.
Oh, don't say that. Yeah.
That's actually that's really funny. That would be hilarious to just teach your kids to do. I feel like your kids are past the age where that's scary.
Well, we can keep it in mind for when you have a kid.
Yeah. Yep. Remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just think little asshole kids like that are so funny.
Agreed.
I think it's funny.
Yeah, because you're the one antagonizing everybody.
Absolutely.
Which is what we need more of.
Just a little poking of the bear. So I'm glad you brought up the whole like Ouija board thing, though, because we talked earlier this week about what I was going to cover.
Yeah.
And I started it. It had to do with the Appalachian Mountains and the haints around it. Mm-hmm. And the Bell Witch was in there. And there were some other things. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to dive really deep into that. And then I thought about how cool it would be to like also encapsulate voodoo and hoodoo into it, because that has to do with haints and all of that jazz. But then Gage told me this story.
Oh, no.
And was like, you should actually cover one of these 2 places. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll look into them. And the one that really stood out to me was this one. And it is the story behind the real house on Haunted Hill.
Ooh, stoked for this.
Do you know what this is?
No.
Okay.
Because wasn't there a Netflix show made about this?
So there was the house
Was it Haunting of Hill House?
Haunting of Hill House, and then there is House on Haunted Hill.
Okay.
House on Haunted Hill was originally made in like the 60s or 70s, and then it was remade again in like the 2000s.
Okay.
But yes, Haunting on Hill House or something at Hill House, that was also a Netflix series, which was all of them were really good. But anyways, yes. Okay, so Hill House is in Texas. Mm-hmm. And recently, it's really kind of been thrust into the media. And I'm going to tell you why here in a bit. And then after we do this, after we talk about this, I want you to get on YouTube and Google or YouTube this video because it's fucking creepy.
Great. Love that for me.
Creepy as shit. All right, so Mineral Wells, Texas, that's where this haunted Hill House is at. So Mineral Wells, Texas, it was founded in the early to late, early, why did I put early in there? The late 1800s.
It's okay. Your brain was probably working way faster than your fingers. Yeah.
Yeah, happens all the time.
It does.
In the late 1800s by James Alvis Lynch. So the town's creation was kind of one that came up with it just pure accident. Him and his wife, Armanda.
Ooh, I like that name.
Isn't that a cool name? They actually had 50 head of livestock, and they originally lived in Denison, Texas. So they decided to move out to a drier climate as a relief from malaria. And they both also suffered from, I'm going to say this and I'm probably going to butcher it, but it's like rheumatoid arthritis, but it's called rheumatoidism. It's like rheumatoid arthritis. Okay. It's inflammation of your joints and stiffness and stuff like that. So they wanted to go to a drier area to get away from the malaria and to get some relief from that arthritis. So during their trek across Texas, they actually received word that the Comanche attacks, because that was all taking place too, they actually started to get a lot worse in the general direction that they were traveling. So they're heading out west further than where they were at in Denison. They get word that the Comanche are attacking the area that they're really hoping to end up in. Mm-hmm. And so they kind of just stop and they're like, you know what? We'll just kind of camp out here. So they ended up in this little area. It's like a valley known as the Hill of Palo Pinto County. So Palo Pinto County is an area of vast beauty, but at the time, it did not have a water source nearby. In fact, the nearest water source was 4 miles from where the Lynches ended up settling, and that was the Brazos River. So summer of 1880, they've been here for a while, James decided to bring a well driller into the area, and they made an arrangement, a trade. You drill this well for me to give me water closer so that I don't have to go to this river 4 miles away, and I will give you livestock. So they made a trade. So well gets drilled, they hit water, perfect. The water, though, once they hit and they started to like drink it, they noticed it tasted a little funny.
Oh, no.
So they stopped drinking the water. The Lynches did. They continued, though, to use that water to give to their livestock.
Right.
So after a while, after the livestock were feeding off of this water and they were fine, they were healthy, the Lynches decided to, okay, we'll give this water a shot.
Okay.
So after they started drinking the water, they noticed that their arthritis started to feel better and it started to lessen.
This is not going in the direction that I have been thinking it was going to go.
No.
Okay.
No.
Keep going.
So basically what ended up happening is you kind of have another instance of Eureka Springs. Mm-hmm. They drill this well. They happen to tap into some spring, and this water that they were drinking that tasted funny to them, it was mineral water.
Yes.
So, word starts to travel that, oh my gosh, this magical water, it makes you feel better. Mm-hmm. It's healing. So pretty soon, all of these people are showing up at the Lynch's farm. It started with the neighbors, and then pretty soon, as word traveled even further, people were coming from far and wide just to get this water. And so the Lynches, they actually decided to give some of the water away. That well created 100 gallons a day, which is a lot.
That is a lot.
But they also required that you signed like an affidavit saying like, yes, I am sick and I need this water. And so.
Oh, wow. So they were really just being picky at who could get it.
Yeah, they're not just giving it to everybody. So.
Did people pay for it?
It never said. I would assume so.
Right.
I would assume so, but it never said. So because of all of the newcomers coming and the popularity of this water and in this location, they thought, you know what? Let's build a town.
Wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
So due to the popularity and the constant arrival of newcomers, the town of Mineral Falls was laid out in 1881, where James Lynch named himself the first mayor. So,
I mean, I would also name myself the first mayor.
Absolutely,
if I was created in town.
It's a pretty small town, and I feel like it's outside of Dallas, not too far outside of Dallas. And it started much like the town we live in. It started out, it grew and got very big, and then it kind of started to diminish a little bit. So it's not as big as what it used to be. But interesting enough, there's 2 haunted properties in this town, and both of them are on pretty high, most popular lists. The first one is the Baker Hotel. So the Baker Hotel was pretty lavish for its time. It stood 14 stories tall, and it was made entirely of brick. The hotel contained 450 guest rooms, some of the top-rated spa treatments of the day, and just like the Crescent Hotel, it really touted its healing mineral waters and the ability to cure ailments. So the hotel was quite the attraction for the time. It even had on its registry, they had names of like Bonnie and Clyde had been there. Judy Garland, Clark Gable, and of course it's haunted. So yeah,
of course.
But we're not talking about the Baker Hotel. However, this house does tie into the Baker Hotel, which is why I brought it up. So the house that we're talking about is the house that sits not too far from the Baker Hotel, and it served as its brothel, or more commonly known now today, it's known as Hill House.
Hell yeah.
So there are actually tunnels that go from the Baker Hotel to the brothel house. They are closed off to the public now, but the tunnels still exist.
So you could go to the hotel, but then you could also get a side piece
for boot. And also, like, this all came about in a Baker Hotel was built in like 1920, 1930s, somewhere around there. So it's at the time of bootlegging.
Yeah.
So that was prohibition. So those tunnels were also used for that as well.
Wild.
So, yeah. Brothel.
Prostitutes. Oh, wait. I don't think we call them that. Sex workers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This house so the Hill House, it's full of paranormal activity and has recently taken the #1 spot for the most haunted in the world. As we uncover some of the many stories that have come out of this place, you'll soon see why. The house itself was constructed in 1880 by one of the original settling families of Mineral Wells, and it was a pretty prominent family. After that, for the next 50 years, the home served as a makeshift hospital. And then once the Baker Hotel was built, that house was then used as a brothel and home to bootleggers, sex workers, gamblers. The house in general has just been a scene of many murders and the occult at one point in time.
Okay. Great.
So let's start in the 1930s when the home was owned by 2 men by the names of Curley and Lester. So this is when Prohibition's taking place. At that point in time, it was referred to as the Kyle House because Curley's last name was Kyle. It was at this time that the home was being used as a place for illegal activities, but was also the site of many beatings, murders, and, unfortunately, suicide.
Yeah.
Yep. Women and young girls at the time, so your sex workers, they were rotated out every 3 months using the train railways.
Oh, so these were not willing sex workers.
Absolutely not. No.
Okay, well, never mind. That takes the fun out of it.
I would say some of them might have been.
Right.
Most of them were not.
It was like a human trafficking kind of thing.
Yes, and they used the train systems because, and if you think about it, we even had it here, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I think that prostitution, sex work, was pretty popular in Moberly.
Yeah, I think we even had a brothel at one point in time. It's just like anywhere you had a train depot, not too far from the train depots, had a brothel. So, so that's how this kind of came about. So the like Lester and Curly, they would rotate out. You would get a fresh batch of girls every 3 months. So you can imagine if you're rotating people out every 3 months, just like the types of things that take place.
Were condoms normalized then?
I don't think so.
Gosh, can you just imagine the accidental pregnant? Okay, we're
Yep,
getting there. See,
absolutely.
This happens every episode.
Yeah.
My brain works faster than what you're saying. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, so some of these women, they came with children as well. Sometimes those children, especially the boys, were kept and they were used as boys that would run around the town and help with the bootlegging and bring in men to, get to, help the prostitutes make money. They're like little bitty gigolos.
Okay, wait. So, like, they were kept away from the moms, or they were just also put to work?
They were also put to work.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Still, that's terrible.
Not all the time.
Oh, no.
Sometimes children were forcefully taken from their mothers and they were sold. So.
Oh, that's
sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Curly is actually one of the main spirits in the house that you will likely encounter should you visit today. So Curly was one of the most brutal men that actually lived in that home. He was responsible for many people's murders and beatings in Hill House. There was actually a time that Curly's niece was in the brothel, and she was also working in the brothel. I would come close to saying working there forcefully.
Absolutely. Like, it's just...
Yes.
Yeah.
She actually had 2 sons. And as they got older, one son was beaten. And then the second one, the first story was that he killed himself. He was hung. So there's been a lot of paranormal investigators as well as psychics that have visited this house, and many encounter the spirit of a woman by the name of Carol Kyle, which is said to they believe that is the niece of Curly Kyle, the mother of these 2 boys.
How unfortunate that she is stuck in this realm.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, with the man who more than likely forced her to do this.
Absolutely.
At first, I was like, yeah, good. Glad he's stuck there. But now the fact that she is, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's said that this spirit is the spirit of Curly's niece. So her son that was hung, he is also present in the home. His spirit is. And psychics believe that he did not commit suicide. He was actually murdered and made to look like he committed suicide. One of them actually said that they, during an interaction with him, was told or felt, however that feeling comes to you or that information comes to you, that he had actually been raped, murdered, and then hung from the tree in the front yard to be made to look like he killed himself. So, nobody knows the real story. It's just
speculation, but
yes,
makes sense also.
Yep. So his spirit has been known to pester men around their 20s, because at the time when he passed away, he was about 24. Mm-hmm. And the way he pesters men is he bites them. He'll bite them or he'll pinch them. And the current owner of the house today, she said, which I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know. But her belief is that when you have spirits that growl, bite, scratch, that they're not necessarily always bad spirits. They're spirits that need to tell you something.
Yeah, they're trying to get their story told.
Yes, they're trying to get your attention. So that's what she thinks. That's why she thinks this spirit was biting boys around that age. Since then, since it's kind of been brought into the open that they think he was raped, murdered, and then hung, that part of the activity has kind of died down. So I don't know. Who knows? But the original story behind his death, again, it was just that he hung himself, and then they had that those couple of psychics that came in and did their investigation, and for however that information comes to them, they believed that he was raped and murdered and then hung.
Since people have started to figure out his story, the activity that is presumed to be him has slowed down.
Yes.
Do you think that it's because he's crossed over to the other side?
That could be.
Because I mean, obviously this is just a TV show that I watched, but there's this TV show called School Spirits, and it talks about a girl that her spirit was stuck at this school along with a bunch of other spirits of just teenagers that have passed at different times. Mm-hmm. And the whole premise of the show is her trying to figure out what happened and come to peace with it so then she could cross over to the other side.
I think so, yes. But I mean, it's also kind of the same as like The Sixth Sense, right? That little boy saw dead people, and that's scary. But I think they were making themselves known and present to him because they had something that needed to come out, so that they could go on. I do think that happens. I don't know. It's a whole... I think that happens. I don't know if anybody else does, though. So
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah. So oddly enough, Curly, he was the most brutal person in this brothel. So oddly enough, Curly actually met his own demise in the home. He was shot and killed by somebody that they call a lady of the night.
Good.
In the room that they now call the suicide bathroom. So this bathroom, apparently the lady shot Curly and then turned the gun on herself, committing her own death. They say that if you go visit this home today, there is still brain matter on the wall.
I will not be visiting this
from
home.
this happening.
Correct.
Another thing that I want to mention is I will give you as much information as I can that I found. There is not much on the internet as far as like writings.
Right.
There's a lot of YouTube videos
of people visiting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got on the website, and I'll get to that here in a little bit, but I got on the website and I was like just trying to find history, like, give me the history about some of these people. I even got on newspapers.com and was like trying to find stuff.
You were really digging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the website, there is a specific spot in one of the waivers where they say you are allowed to video the history about the home, but in only 2 rooms. It's these 2 specific rooms.
Oh.
That's the only 2 that you're allowed to like video.
Or take pictures in.
I think you could take pictures throughout the whole house, but you only get to video the tour giving you the history chunk for just those 2 rooms. You don't get anything else. They'll tell you the history, but you have to pay to go on a tour in that house. They're not going to publish it on the internet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which was very odd to me.
That is odd.
But it made sense after I started to like dig into this a little more. I was like, that's why I'm not finding anything, because they don't want it out there for whatever reason.
Interesting.
Take it. I don't know.
Take it at
Yeah. Maybe it's because they want you
to come visit.
Yeah. And maybe it's because the whole thing's made up. I don't know. You'll have to watch the videos and decide for yourself.
Okay, great.
So anyways, yeah. So I mentioned earlier about how the house had kind of been thrust into the spotlight recently, and it's because of a video recording that was actually released, I feel like it was in February of this year, showing a woman that was actually pulled off of a bed, like yanked off of a bed. Yes. So the room that this occurred in is one of the rooms that you kind of get to hear about the history. It was the room that a lot of the prostitutes, sex workers, would stay in, and on the insides of the windows are bars.
Oh.
So
that's unfortunate.
One of the stories attached to this room is that of a younger sex worker who was impregnated by a local banker by the name of Benjamin Ackerjaeger.
That's a great last name.
I think that's his last name.
Okay.
This is the one where I really dug into newspapers.com and it was not helpful. But anyways, Benjamin's father was a doctor. So Benjamin gets this sex worker knocked up. His dad's like, hey, let me help you. Both Benjamin and his father chloroform the girl and then perform an abortion on her.
What?
Yeah. So a lot of abortions were performed in this home, like you said, because it's a brothel and there's no form. There was no like form of birth control or nothing like that. So it happened a lot.
Wow.
EVP recordings have actually picked up on a young girl's voice stating, he cut me open and he stapled me shut. There's also been statements of people hearing ladies crying, babies crying, things like that in that room. So the girl that was actually yanked off of the bed, she was staying in the house, because you can do that. You could stay a whole weekend
A house that still has brain matter on the wall too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can stay. And she was with a large group of friends. They'd been drinking, which, FYI, read through the waiver and the disclaimer yesterday. That's a no-go. You should not be drinking and doing drugs in that home because it says you're not supposed to. But anyways, they had been drinking.
Yeah.
And they were all getting a little bit rowdy. And to be obnoxious, you know, they were just kind of stirring the pot and they're basically provoking.
Like taunting.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the way she was like laying on the bed, she had her arm underneath her and she was kind of like laying at the same time.
Yeah.
But she basically says, they're in that room, and she basically says like, hey, Dr. Yeager, I'm a woman. You don't like women. What are you going to do to me? And in response, you see her being yanked from the bed.
Oh, no.
So she actually described that encounter as not being yanked, but being sucked. Like she felt like she was sucked off the bed.
Like a suction, yeah.
And she felt like she was being sucked under the bed. So, the group that she was with, you know, that whole group arrived pretty skeptical. Mm-hmm. They definitely did not leave skeptical.
No, absolutely not.
So the video footage that came out of it, they weren't recording it. There's cameras positioned in the home, and the camera that caught it was actually the camera of the owner of the home.
Right, just for security purposes, they probably have those.
Yeah. Yes. So that footage is the footage that you see on the local news in Texas, and it was also sent to a doctor to be analyzed. Mm-hmm. And that doctor analyzed it over 500 times. And
wow.
He said that with the amount of force that she was yanked off of the bed, and the position that she was laying in, and the people that were surrounding her, and how they were sitting and positioned, it just was not humanly possible that somebody could have yanked her off the bed like that. So something yanked her off the bed like that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So in an effort to kind of try to recreate that again, they brought the woman back. Mm-hmm. And they went back to that room, and it was her and the owners of the home, and they were trying to provoke the spirit again. And after a while, she starts complaining. She's like, I think I've been bit by a bug. And so she gets up, and her shirt, I don't know, it's a couple inches in diameter, is bloody. And they lift her shirt up. It is not a bite. It is a gouge.
Oh,
she has a gouge on her body that to this day has left a scar, and it was bleeding everywhere. So they couldn't get the recreation of her being yanked off the bed, but she got scratched, and that happens a lot.
Yeah.
In really bad hauntings. So yeah, the owner, they don't stay in that house anymore. The owner of the house, but when they were staying in the house, she slept in that room, and I would freak the fuck out if this happened to me. She said she woke up one morning, and she has really long hair. She woke up one morning and her hair had been tied in a knot to the pole of the bed. Mm-mm. Is that not fucking creepy?
And the fact that she didn't feel it?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Yep. So all of this kind of took place, like, that's a lot of what happened in the 1930s, building up to, like, the brothel, the abortions, some of the spirits that are attached there. Now, we're going to jump to the 1970s because this is where it gets really fucking weird. In the 1970s, the home was actually purchased by the Montgomery family. And the Montgomery family, they're pretty interesting, to say the least. Mm-hmm. They practiced voodoo. And
great.
They were known for satanic worship. So, among the spirits that reside in this home, there's also dark entities that lurk among the property. It's the Montgomerys that have been blamed for summoning several demons that have come through that. So they say it's like a portal.
Yeah.
They've opened a portal, and some claim that that's how they've gotten there. So there's 9 entities total on this property. One entity alone has been the source of 750 scratches, 20 possessions, and over 18 bites that guests have experienced. Yep.
Oh no.
One of these entities is known as the Shadow Man, and he's very violent. He's been named Toby, and he is not allowed in the home. He's so violent and sinister, in fact, that a lot of the videos that you watch, there are people running in pure terror and fear from him. He's so mean. So, yeah.
Oh, no.
All right. So you don't only have the bottom floor or even the outdoors that are showing paranormal activity, but you've also got a second floor attached to this home.
Okay.
So let's go to the second floor. The second floor has been said to contain a higher level of paranormal activity, so much so that the owner of the home, she will not go on the second floor. She refuses. She only goes in the front door, stays in that
Does she
lower
full-time
level.
live in the house or
No.
Okay.
They have purchased this home
Just
solely for paranormal investigations. That is it. They stayed there like when they first bought it, and she experienced that, her hair being tied to the bed, but they don't live there. But she's been upstairs before and gotten so scared she will not go back upstairs now.
Wow.
So yeah, we've talked about the tunnels. The second floor is haunted. You've got the 9 entities. Now, the home was sold again in the 1980s to a man with the name of Phil. And this poor guy actually had the intention of turning it into a bed and breakfast.
Did he not know that it was haunted?
Nope. After experiencing several encounters with the spirits of the home himself, he tossed that idea. He said, fuck that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, the current owners have the hilltop. They've had it since 2017, and they've turned the home into a spot where paranormal investigators can come and research the paranormal. They also open the home for tours and overnight stays. If you look up the price, I mean, I think I saw $550 a night.
Right.
Up to 8 people, which is not bad.
No, if you were to split it.
$200 deposit. Also worth mentioning, the waiver and the whatever that other word is, those papers you have to sign.
Did you say affidavit earlier?
Yeah, but that was something different.
Yeah, that was different.
It's down in here
NDA?
somewhere. No.
Nope. Okay.
I'll figure it out here in a minute.
You will.
But the paperwork that you have to sign, you can get online and look at some of it. I actually watched a video where a couple just wanted to stay in the house, and they signed up and they paid their deposit and everything. And the owners actually reached out to them and said, like, hey, you probably want to bring another couple with you. Like, they don't recommend that it's just 2 people that stay there. They recommend larger groups of people. I don't know if that's because the more people you have, the more opportunity you have for a paranormal experience. You know, I mentioned 20 possessions. Maybe it's because if 2 of you get possessed, 2 of you may not. I don't know. I don't
like that.
Yeah. So, you know, you've got everything that's kind of happened in the area. This so-called portal and all of these entities. And if that's not enough, the owner, you know, she owns it for paranormal investigations. She also stuffs this house full of furnishings and trinkets and furniture that is also haunted.
Oh, so she's just really...
Yeah, if that portal was not... like, she's just, like, standing out there with some freaking gas, just, like, into that portal. Yeah. So she's got things that are, like... there's a doll upstairs. The upstairs, you know, I said it had a lot more activity. It's got activity from children, which can be kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know. They really just kind of like to play around with you from what I saw. But there's dolls up there that, like, there's a doll that belonged to a little girl that passed away when she was younger. She fell off of her horse and she died. And her soul, or her spirit, is supposedly attached to that doll. She's also got the original medical kit for Dr. Stevens, which is the guy that wrote Dr. Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
She's got, like, his glasses, his hat. There's also this, and this one's creepy AF. She's got this paper mache doll that some guy named Alvin made that lived in an insane asylum. And she's got his drawings. She's got one of his teeth.
No.
Yep. There's a doll that he thought was his sister. Her name's Ingrid, but he was supposedly possessed. So she's got all of his belongings. The most recent thing she has bought, listen to this, didn't even know you could buy this shit, was a 1920s or older memorial coffin
somebody's
memorial
coffin.
Yeah, you can still see makeup stains on the satin lining when the coffin's open. And
wait, like some people are just digging up these graves.
Yeah, I don't know how they came across
the bodies out.
I don't yeeting.
No, I don't know. I don't like this at all.
You can also see like the body oils. You can still see that in there.
Yeah, because the embalming process in like the 1920s was not what it is.
Yep, and if the coffin isn't enough, the gentleman that she bought it from, he couldn't find the stand for it, so no fear.
It's on the floor, isn't it?
I'm gonna send you an incinerator chair to put that on.
What?
That's the chair that they like take everybody to the crematory in.
Yeah.
Yep. You don't need the stand. Just take this incinerator chair.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like this. This lady's literally just
absolutely, it's no shocker.
She's just pissing off everything.
It's no shock that you have all of this activity in this area because you have haunted pieces of,
like
furniture and relics. Yeah. And then you've got the Satan voodoo worshiping family that lived there and that opened a portal and allowed all of these entities through. You've got all of the bootlegging and the prostitution and all of that shit that took place. Mm-hmm. And so it's literally just like tornadic activity of fucking paranormal things.
I cannot.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So,
now I need to go rewatch like all of the TV things.
Well, I'm going to put a couple of the YouTube clips that I watched in the show notes. Mm-hmm. One of them was the Overnight channel. Those guys are they originally started with Sam and Colby. Mm-hmm. And then there was another one. It was called Twin Paranormal, maybe. Mm-hmm. Theirs was really good. Theirs scared the shit out of me. And I'll tell you why here in a second. But yeah, it's just, a lot of people that visit, they just report the normal like orbs, disembodied voices. I mean, that's not normal. You don't want to hear voices, but footsteps, things like that. There's been people that say things get thrown across the room. But there's also this weird thing where people feel like once they leave, they can't stop thinking about the house. And they want to return. They just want to keep going back.
Because there's just something pulling them there.
Yeah, which is freaking weird to me.
Yeah, so, agreed.
Yeah, like I said, it's like $550 a night to stay. You can have up to 8 people. Disclaimer. That was the other word.
Waiver disclaimer. Yep.
Yeah, they're both pretty lengthy. But it's kind of worth just looking at to see.
Absolutely.
But yes, if you get the opportunity to watch any of the videos on YouTube, do it. I'll drop those 2 in the show notes. But also, I wanted to talk about the one that it was called Twin Paranormal. Mm-hmm. And the upstairs scene that scared the shit out of me last night. So they have, and I don't know what all of the equipment's called. I don't remember, but they've got, you've got the EVP. Mm-hmm. And then you've got it looks like a hockey puck, I think, that like picks up on heat or something like that. Yeah. But they were talking to children. And they had asked this one spirit, there's a music box in this room across the hallway from them. So they were asking this spirit to like prove to me, like use all of your energy and prove to me that you're here. Mm-hmm. Make that music box play. And Lauren, I shit you not, that fucking music box started playing. But it wasn't even like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. It was like creepy Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And I sat there and I was like, this is a joke. And so then I would scroll through a little bit further. And then you could just kind of hear it like every once in a while. It would just play 1 note, 2 notes. It's just fucking
No, I
creepy.
don't like that at all.
So yeah, it was like at that point in the video, I'll do a lot of things. I will absolutely go like explore. I got some big balls. I can handle a lot. I am going to nope right out of that fucking situation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know as I want to stay in that house. I don't even know as I want to enter that house.
No,
I'm good.
I feel like all the juju in there is bad and I'm good.
It makes me think of Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah.
They had all of like the haunted artifacts or whatever,
Absolutely.
but they had them like secure so that the spirits couldn't get out, or and whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, I think I just thought, like, that's insane that you're buying this stuff and just like placing it throughout the home.
Just haphazardly.
Yep. With these little cards that, like, it's cool. It's cool that you have this stuff, but it's also scary as shit that there's things attached to them.
Absolutely.
And you're just like filling them,
festering this house.
Yes.
Of horrors, basically.
Yeah.
No.
So I just wanted to let you know, I booked a trip for us. We're going to go in 3 weeks.
I will be sick.
She said, fuck you. Go by yourself.
I can maybe try to find somebody in my place.
Yeah. The house, like, if you look at it, it doesn't look very scary. It just looks like a rundown house. It's just all of the shit that's taken place in it and the videos that you see things happening in. And also Google that video
I'm going to
of the local
news.
Yep, the local news guys. They're talking about, like, the house and how it's been thrust into the #1 spot of most haunted, and they show the video of the woman legit just getting, like, right off of that bed.
Well, and also no wonder it's #1 most haunted whenever you keep filling it full of stuff.
Absolutely. Yep.
I mean, maybe her end goal is just to make sure that all the spirits are not lonely. But
no, man. No. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm good.
know, every time that you tell me about any of these places that have, like, hauntings, this is just definitely not. I'm always like, I'm good. I don't need to go visit this place. This definitely
not
good.
Yeah. I think it would be cool if we went to Villisca.
Yeah.
And we did that one because that one's pretty close.
Absolutely.
I think I would also still get, like, the Chilly Willies because you can still see the axe marks in the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
There.
Yeah.
And I've covered Waverly. I think I would go to Waverly. I'm not going into this one.
Nope.
I don't think so.
I'm good.
Nope.
I can watch all the YouTube videos.
Yeah, the fact that there's, like, 9 entities and that one
is 700. Just the possession. Yeah, I'm good.
20 possessions.
I'm good. I would be 21.
Yeah.
Nope. I don't even know if you could get anybody here in Moberly to take that seriously. No. If you were to be like, she's possessed, they'd be like, she needs some meds. Yeah. And then I'd get checked in.
She's not possessed. Sockcation.
I mean,
sticky sockcation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I got for you.
Oh my gosh. I was not prepared for what I thought you were going to talk about, but this was good.
Yeah. I'll drop those YouTube channels and links in the show notes. I'll try to find one of the news coverage on it too, just so you guys can see the coverage of that chick getting just ripped off the bed.
That is unreal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No way, Jose. You couldn't have even paid me enough money to go back. Because remember they tried to recreate it? I would have been like, no, I'm good.
Well, and, like, what happened after that? Like, I just would want to know, did she immediately leave or did they just stick it out?
Oh, I bet they left.
I would immediately be like, I'm sleeping in my car, especially if I'm drunk. I don't care.
If you could see, oh yeah, you're talking about that one, yeah.
Oh yeah, the girls that were drinking and she got pulled off, yeah.
I thought you were talking about when she got gouged. I would still also be leaving.
I mean, absolutely, yes, if I'm gouged.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nope.
Absolutely.
That's a big nope.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I don't have anything else.
Nope, that's okay.
Sorry, guys.
Honestly, we can just end it here. Yeah. Let us know if you guys liked this episode.
Yeah, please. If you don't, I will just blame Gage. He gave me the idea.
Don't let Gage get blamed for this.
No, I wouldn't do that. It's my fault.
No, it was good, though.
Yeah.
That wraps up today's episode. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Patreon.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, give us a thumbs up on YouTube, and hit that notification bell so you can get an alert every time an episode drops. So, tap that app. We got it that time.
That was good.
Woo-woo. Okay.
We'll see you next week, but in the meantime,
stay